Hey, folks, welcome to a little lunchtime chat here on a Tuesday. St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, and there's really nothing going on here in the Boston area. The biggest thing that I got going on is my Celtics banner that I put up behind me. Oh, you can see it if I go like this. So I got my Celtics banner up and my Bruins shirt over here, and that's about all the St. Patrick stuff we got going on over here. Day one of kind of some weirdness going on is yesterday everything was pretty much open as normal yesterday. In fact, let me tell you about my day, just because this is a lunchtime chat and I want to hear about your day and see how things are going with you. But I needed to go get my car inspected because it's up at the end of the month, and as we know, things are kind of crazy. So I went down and got my car inspected first thing yesterday, and luckily I was first in line, and the guy says, come on in. And I got my car inspected right away, and that went pretty well. And I felt bad for the guy. I was talking to the guy that owned the garage, and I'm not sure what country he was from. He spoke really good English, nice guy. I don't know if he was Greek or whatever he was. And he's like, he says, we're just so dead right now. And he goes, I had to send a couple people home. I can't even pay them this week. So we had one guy in there, and he was doing the inspections, and he was just on the phone talking to people. And I was there about 10 minutes, maybe getting the inspection done. And only one guy pulled up to get gas. And I felt bad. It's like, I said, I hear you. I says, I could be out of work for a few weeks myself without pay. And what are we going to do? So we chatted for a few minutes, and it was nice. It was a good sense of normalcy to talk to this guy. It really was. And then, so then I had a red. This eye over was it? This eye was a little red, and I thought I had conjunctivitis. And I'm like, okay, well, if they're going to shut everything down, the conjunctivitis is going to be last in line at the doctor's office at this point, right? So I says, okay, let me pop into the eye doctor. And I said, oh, we can see you this afternoon. So that's great. So I had an eye doctor appointment. Then I went down to get my license renewed because my license is due in mid-April. Okay, just figures this is the year that it's due. Of all times for it to be due, it's got to be during a pandemic virus, right? And so I went down to AAA. I had all my stuff. I don't even know if I have enough to go and get all my real ID. So I said, something, I don't care if I get a regular ID. I just want to make sure that I can drive without having any issues, right? So I go there and there's no one in line. I'm like, great, I'm gonna be in and out of here, right? Well, yeah, there's a sign on the door saying that all registry stuff is shut down for a few days, at least through till the 18th or through the 18th. I don't know. So as I peeked my head and I says, you can't do my license. And they said, no, there's no registry services for a few days. And they said they did extend it though for 60 days. So in all seriousness, I was going to get it done a month early because just in case things are shut down for a month, I didn't want to have an expired license and run into any issues at all. Because you know how it goes around here. It's just, it's extended, but you're not you. If your license expires, then you're technically dead to the world. Is how it goes. You have to have a license, and if it's expired by one day, you don't exist to the world. And I didn't want that to happen, but they couldn't do it. So I might try to go back later in the week. I'm going to give them a call, see if they're open, see if I can at least even get my regular license so I can drive without an issue. But they did say that it was extended 60 days. So instead of the middle of April, it should be the middle of June. So that gives me actually 3 months now to get it done. So I'm kind of hoping that the craziness is not going to last that long. So then I go to my eye doctor appointment. It's not conjunctivitis. It was some irritation in my eye. So that was good. So I'm on some new eye drops for that. And then I ran around just doing as many errands as I could. It was just like an errand day because I felt like as of today, Tuesday, with restaurants shutting down and bars shutting down, and it's just a really crazy time here locally. Not as crazy as some places, but it is kind of nuts around here. And then the whole hockey rink thing here. I'll tell you about that one second. I want to say hi to some people in the chat. I'm just chatting here. Feel free to type in whatever you want to type in. I just figured I'd open it up. I had a couple of people ask me to do this again because it's kind of a local talk show is what it is, because you turn on the news, it's doom and gloom. I don't want to talk doom and gloom. You turn on the radio, well, now with Brady, it's doom and gloom, So Mark's in here. Hi, Mark. David, Nathan, Jimmy O'Toole, Mike Bozio, Micah Beatty, Robbie Wahlberg. Thanks to everybody here. Yeah, it's weird. You go out there, some places are madhouses and some places are totally calm. Nicholas out there. I think he's in Ohio. I think Ohio is one of the crazy places. I think Nicholas out there in Ohio. Yeah, fireside chat. Yeah, Steve Steve's been taking point on the whole virus situation for the league. I'm not sure if he's working or he's going to school for this stuff, but he's way more into that than I am. So he's been giving us a pretty good heads up on what's going on. So here's what happened yesterday. So basically, I'm shut down because everything I do is really out of Hockeytown for the most part. And so Hockeytown shuts down for the weekend. Okay, fine, we're shut down. So I'm telling everybody, well, I don't know what's going to happen on Tuesday, but I had a Monday. I got Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday over at Hockeytown, and I don't know what's going on with anything, right? So Hockeytown says, okay, we're open Monday. We're open for business for adults, no kids, and if you have a rental, it's got to be 25 or less. So we're doing the math, and it's like when we play our games, it's 9-on-9 and 2 refs, so it's 21. So technically, we're under the 25 limit, so we're safe. And then the next group would be considered a different rental, so to speak. It'd be an hourly thing. And their leagues down there, they were talking about they have 15 people in a locker room is what they were talking about. So they were trying to get around that. And they were going to play, especially the older leagues. They said that all the older guys wanted to play. And so we were on as of yesterday afternoon. And I was asking my guys, do you guys want to play? And it was back and forth about yes, no. Some guys are dying to play. And other guys are like, no, I just don't want, I don't feel safe right now. So my phone starts going off for the rink, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to shut down deck hockey, but we're going to keep ice hockey going. Okay, fine. So that's back on. So now I'm still figuring out what we're going to do with roller hockey. So roller hockey was on, and then it was off. So I said, look, just cancel the roller hockey on Tuesday. And I said, maybe we'll play on Saturday. Hopefully Saturday things will be better. And then we get the note, later in the day that, no, we're going to shut down everything throughout the week. So now I don't have to worry about Friday or Saturday at this point because Hockeytown's going to be closed for a week. So locally here, we got a week, which I think is the smart thing to do. Let's play this week by week. That's the best thing to do. Let's not say we're shut down for a month to 2 months. That I would rather say we'll close for a week and we'll reevaluate in a week, and then we'll shut down for another week and reevaluate. I would rather do it that way than just have it's just too depressing going a month or 2 or 3 months without something to do. Now, let's see. In the chat room here, Sports Time Machine has joined us. How's that hockey tournament going? You still doing that? I got to go and see if I can follow some more games on that. Tribe fans in here. Tribe, what's going on? What have you been playing? Dan P's in here. Hi, Dan. Thanks for coming in. And, Michael, he thought ice would kill the virus. I was talking to somebody last night in the medical field, and they said they always keep operating rooms cold because it does kill viruses. So the ice should actually kill the virus. It really should. And once we get into summer, supposedly the virus doesn't like the heat either. This is a virus. It's very finicky virus from what I hear. Now, don't take my word for it. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on the TV or anything, but you hear different things. And one of the things I heard that it doesn't like cold and it doesn't like heat. So right now it's where it's in between. It's like prime breeding ground. But once we get into summer, it should be okay. And yeah, if we get on the ice, we should be okay too. That's what I would think. But we're all playing it safe right now. We're really trying to play things safe. I'm not locked down right now, but there's no sense going out. There's not much to do. The wife put in a half day of work, and that's what she felt comfortable with doing. So we're talking about what she's going to do because I'm out of work right now, and so we still need some money coming in. But I want to keep it safe too. She's getting older now. She's over 60, so she's in the risk category. So what we're trying to do with her is feel it out. And I said, look, go in when you feel okay. Go in, and when you don't, and see if they'll work with you on that. And if you can do a whole day, great. And if not, then do what you can. And just and I said, who knows? They might shut it down at the end of the week anyway. So into the chat room here, the Tribe fan is playing the 2018 Rockies. And something though, the Colorado Rockies are always going to be a hockey team to me. Sorry. In fact, over here where that Patriots banner is, that was the Colorado Rockies hockey banner for about a month or so. I'm rotating my banners now. I bought some new banners, so I'm starting to rotate them up there. You can see the Ice Hogs. Yeah, I had to get Ice Hog. That's the name of my company, Ice Hog. I get email from them too, by the way. Every now and then I'll get an email because I used to have a catch-all for my icehog.com account. And once in a while I'll get an email because they'll forget to put S at the end. So it's like Dan at icehogs.com. It's like, hey, where are my tickets or something like that? So I'll forward it to them. Say, hey, you sent it to the wrong place. But the Rockies are always going to be a hockey team for me. Let's see. Who Who else is there? David M's down there in Australia. Oh, are you in Australia? Or to say there are cases in Australia? It's all over the place. It really is. And that was weird that Australia is really hot and they still had some viruses there. I'm not saying that the heat's going to like melt it like a vampire, but it just doesn't. I mean, if the virus got on something and it stood out in the sun, I think it would not last nearly as long. Ann, hey, hi, Ann. From the Sports Sim magazine, I did an article in issue 2. Unfortunately, I was sick a lot of February and end of January, February, and I did not get to contribute into article number 3. Issue number 3. So I'm kind of hoping maybe issue number 4 I'll get back into. They said the Squared Circle Pro Wrestling Sim is out now. So that's good. I do a one wrestling game, a tabletop wrestling game that I really do enjoy playing. And it's got all the classic wrestlers in there, and you just roll. It's what's really neat is you have all these sheets of paper. There's like 7 charts, okay, and it looks like, oh, this is gonna be complicated. But this particular wrestling game, you roll the dice and you see who grabs the other guy and what he does, and then it tells you what chart to look at, and then you roll the dice. Okay, if he throws him into the ropes and you roll a 5. What happens when you throw him in the ropes? Does he take damage or not? And then as you throw him out of the ring, what happens? And it's just you just follow along, and it's like a choose your own adventure game. This I think it's called Chris's wrestling game, or Chris's dice wrestling game, or something. It was really good. So I'm interested to see the Squared Circle Pro Wrestling Sim, how that plays. I want to see how that plays compared to this other one, because this other one plays super simple. Anybody can pick it up. It's got a pretty big footprint, though, because you got to have all the charts laid out. They do have an Excel version of it, but I prefer to play rolling the dice in the chart. In fact, I went to the craft store. You might have seen some of the pictures I posted. I went to the craft store. I bought a little wooden box, and I bought some navy felt, and I put the navy felt around it and tacked it down. And then I bought some posts and some ribbon, and I made a wrestling ring. It's about this big, and I put the cards in the wrestling ring of the wrestlers that are wrestling. And so that's kind of my backdrop when I play. It was just something stupid I did. I think it cost me like $17 or something like that. So let me see, back to the chat here. Let me see. Nichols, I'm not sure how much weight to put on that temperature thing. It's going to be well enough in Singapore, which is always warm. Yeah, I mean, I just think that the more heat, the better, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Steve says the summer should see a decrease in activity from the virus. They're anticipating wave 2 in October, aka flu season. But by then we should have a cure, treatment, and better be prepped. Yeah, well, I imagine it's not going away. But I think after this initial crazy, it's been a while since we had something this crazy. This is absolutely nuts, you know. And Tribes fans going to film his Rockies. Good. I'll have to check that one out later. And let me see. Ann says that's how the Squared Circle wrestling game works. Chatter hundreds of hours of masses, get realistic moves and sets for each individual wrestler. I find the simpler the better. And that other game that I play is just you roll the dice and you look at the card, and then you roll the dice to see what he did, and it's you start off with the wrestlers and they take damage, and if they do something good, then they build the health back up. It's like watching an actual wrestling game. This guy did a fantastic job creating this wrestling game, and it really feels like you're playing wrestling. So I'm kind of hoping when I check out the Squared Circle that's how that one's going to be. So how's everybody's day going? Are you home today? Are you working today? It's so odd to have no sports to talk about. Now, I know we got the whole Tom Brady thing, and we'll get into that in a couple of minutes. And I get mixed feelings. Really, really, really mixed feelings about the Brady thing. I'm he went to 9 Super Bowls. He won 6 of them. Now, granted, the games are so close. He could have been 9-0 or 0-9 if you really think about it. There was a couple of plays in each game that could have gone either way. But as far as Brady with the Patriots staying or going, I was torn exactly in half. I was torn. Part of me was saying, I would like to see him finish out in New England. It'd be one of the few guys that played over 20 years with one team and 6 Super Bowls, and it's a good story. But part of me is like, I'd like to see how he would do with another team, because I really don't think that with Brady, the Patriots get to the Super Bowl this year. That's just my gut feeling. I think that their heyday's over. I haven't seen enough movement with the team to suggest that they're going to be a Super Bowl contender with Brady. Okay. That being said, without Brady, I count them out completely of the Super Bowl. I would give them a small chance with Brady. I give them no chance without Brady. And part of me would like to see what Brady can do. Could Brady go to another team? I hate to see him go to Tampa or Miami. I was really hoping the Raiders, that new stadium out there, Las Vegas, the whole bit, that would have been awesome. Seeing Brady playing for the team that he beat to get to his first Super Bowl would be kind of a little story right there. So that would be kind of neat, seeing Brady go to the Raiders or go to the NFC of some kind. What if he went to the Giants, taking over for Eli? But the Giants are a terrible team. But I don't know how good Tampa Bay is. They had that quarterback down there that ran like a bastard, but I don't know how good he was. So does Tampa the best fit? I mean, they were talking Tennessee, but then they signed Tannehill to like $1 million years, so he ain't going to Tennessee. Dave says, "Is this like when Orr left the Bruins?" When Orr left the Bruins, I was like 8 or 9 years old, so I don't remember much about it because he was hurt. He missed a good season and a half. And so I just remember that it wasn't the same. The Orr heyday was from the, 70 to 74. And then I think he got hurt and he missed a lot of 75 and he tried to play in 76. And I think that's when I don't know if they traded him or if they just let him go. I forget what it was, but we pretty much knew he was a done deal at that point. In fact, that's why they made the big trade with Phil Esposito when they sent Esposito to the Rangers. Who was it? Esposito? Was it Esposito and Hodge or just Esposito? And they got Park. I think it was Park and Rattel. I think they got in Middleton maybe. But they wanted this. They knew Bobby Orr was done, and that's why they brought in Brad Park. And that was the whole deal. And they knew they had to give up something, but they said we Orr's done. We need to get Park. So what they say, Orr and Park played 10 games together, and then that's when Orr went to go to Chicago. And then I think he played 4 games in Chicago. He didn't even play much in Chicago, really. It was more just to come on in, have a cup of coffee. But he was done. Too bad, Orr was, and you hate to say that because he was unbelievable. You wonder if he played today, if they could have done that little microscopic surgery that they do, arthroscopic surgery, and healed them up. That would have been fantastic. Let's see here. Robbie says, whoever gets Brady goes to the Super Bowl. I don't agree. I think Brady in New England was the perfect recipe. It was Brady. It was Belichick. It was the system. It was working together for so many years. It was how many people come into New England and didn't work out? What was that receiver that come over from the Colts probably about 4 or 5 years ago? Solid receiver on the downcline. Okay, he's in the end of his career, but he came to New England. He quit. He didn't even make it through training camp. He says, "This is too much work." He goes, "This is not what I want to do. This is too much work." So coming to New England was work. It was hard work, but it paid off because they got the 9 Super Bowls. That seemed like every other year they're going to Super Bowl. So, do you want to put in the work, or do you want to come and have a good time and finish 8-8? That's what it turns out to be. So, I don't think there's going to be any guarantee with Brady. Let's see, who was it over here? Oh, Mark says San Diego. Brady will be the quarterback, and the Chargers. Although when I call the Chargers San Diego, Ron always corrects me. By the way. You mean the LA Chargers? Yes, Ron, the LA Chargers. I still call them San Diego. They're not the LA Chargers. They'll be the San Diego Chargers. Just like the Colorado Rockies will always be a hockey team. Sorry, that's the way it goes. So, Tampa Bay. I mean, I'm a big Tampa Bay fan, as you know, the old Buccaneers with the orange uniform. So if Brady were to go to the Buccaneers and they brought back the orange jerseys, that'd be the best of both worlds for me. That would be my favorite uniforms with obviously my favorite quarterback. That would be sweet. Okay. Not going to happen, but it's still neat. Oh, let's see what we got going on. Let's see. Dan says he works from home exclusively since 2013. I work at home half the time, but if I don't run any hockey games, there's no work for me to do. It's kind of like a concert. My job's like a concert. You prepare for the concert, you advertise the concert, you set up the concert, you do the concert, you break down the concert, you get ready for the next concert. But if there's no concerts, then there's no promoting, there's no breaking down, there's no setting up. So without any hockey games to play, there's no all the work is done at home. All the prep and breakdown and everything is done at home. There's nothing for me to do if we're not running games. So I'm just hoping it's not going to be too long. So I'm just going to chill out here it's going to be at least a week, and I'm kind of hoping that we can weather the storm and, not only financially deal with it, but mentally. That's the big part with me is mentally. And I don't know how you guys are handling it, but last night I was sitting here doing my jigsaw puzzles as you see me post, and I was watching Ron on Twitch do a train stream, and I had a hard time last night. Excuse me, all these things on my mind and what's going on out there. And I had to turn off the news and stop reading things for a while, because it's just man, it's doom and gloom, and it's what's going to happen is going to happen, unfortunately. But I have a hard time dealing with that. I really do. I want to be in control of things. I want to know things are going to be okay. I'm a planner. I never just show up at the rink and say, well, we'll deal with it when it gets. No, I like to know when I get to the rink that everything's going to be there for me. And that's the same thing with pretty much everything in my life. I have backups and backups of backups just to make sure that everything goes smooth. And that's just how I'm wired. And right now it's all chaotic, and I don't know what's going to happen. And that is not a very comforting feeling. Oh, let's see here. Going back to the chat room. Mike says it was time to go for sure. And another news, he's grown tired of the Belichick shtick. Clean break. Let's see how McDaniels would do during a rebuild. I've heard a few people say that. I mean, it started with the Super Bowl where was it Malcolm Butler? He kept out of the Super Bowl, and that they think it cost him the Super Bowl. And I've heard some people say that, the whole "In Bill We Trust" got us through many years, but now that Super Bowl, that's one they could have won. They could have won that. They kept the guy out, and and that backfired on them. Now they won the next year, or the year after, I forget which one it was. So, I mean, they did win another one after, which is probably a saving grace for Belichick. But I think people are like, how can you let Tom go? I mean, suck it up for 2 years. You don't win the Super Bowl for 2 years, but you cement the legacy of the best quarterback ever. You add to his New England Patriots stats. You add to his personal stats. He's obviously he's a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame, but I mean, it's just the idea that you could have let him finish out here. And what are you going to get right now that's better than Brady? Seriously, what is out there right now that you can say, yep, this year the best thing for us is to get rid of Brady and bring in quarterback X? Who is quarterback X that you would take over Brady? Brady's old. I get it. He's going to be 43 when the season starts. He's still good. He still plays like he's, late 30s. So, but yeah, I agree. It may be time to let this go, because that sounds like they haven't got along in a while. And let's see, Alan Eagleson, he lied to Orr. Yeah, I told him Chicago offered more money. Yeah, Orr supposedly was reportedly offered part of the Bruins. He was going to be a part owner of the Bruins, and they never told him that. And so they said, oh, Chicago wants to give you more money, and he convinced Orr to go. Now, Eagleson did some good things, though. He screwed Bobby Orr, but Eagleson did some really good things for hockey in general. So he's one of those double agents, so to speak. Captain Carl says there's a report. I'm reading some of the older comments here, a little behind as I was rambling on. Captain Carl, there's a report he saw that Ted Johnson stated that Belichick doesn't want Brady. I would say that's probably true. I mean, if Brady wanted to sign again for less money, maybe, but I think the egos collided. And like Mike said, it was time to go. It was time for a separation. And what is this Reggie Wayne talk? What is Reggie Wayne? I see people mentioning Reggie Wayne. I don't know. I've heard the name, but it's not ringing a bell. If you guys could clarify that. Let's see. Oh, Jeremy Raymond. This sucks because all I have is the E for the hobby. Yeah, but you've been missing games. We've been playing games without you, Jeremy. The E is, that's the way we go. We play hockey every Saturday, and we hope to see you there, and you've been missing games. We've been having Mason show up, and Mason doesn't have anybody to yell at him. He's like, I don't know if I'm doing good or if I'm doing bad, because Jeremy's not here to yell at me. So, yeah. Let's see. Bud Kazan, we need to teach our dogs how to drive. That would be interesting. Send them down the store to pick up some supplies for you. And that way you can not avoid the virus. Is that what you're going with that? That'd be kind of funny. The coach receives it. Okay, so I was talking about the guy that came to New England. Reggie Wayne was the guy. Yes. Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, he's the guy that said it was too hard. And I don't blame him. I mean, because getting the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl is obviously is the goal, and that's the ultimate thing. But for crying out loud, if it's going to be a chore, if going to work is going to suck that bad and it's going to be that difficult, maybe, hey, maybe make the playoffs and you don't win the Super Bowl, but the other, whatever, 15, 16, 20 weeks are better to deal with. Who knows what it's like in there. I mean, these guys are so, I'd like to actually sit down with either Belichick or Brady one time and just ask them honest questions like, is this ever fun? Or is this a job? And I know you enjoy it. Everyone enjoys a job to some point, usually to some degree. But it's like, we look at football, like go in the backyard, toss around the ball, we have some fun, isn't that? You wonder if it's fun for these guys. Are these guys enjoying any of this? Or is this like open a book, study, even when you go out there, and I wonder about hockey players too. I mean, hockey's a little bit different than football because the puck moves and things change. Football, you run a play and the whole bit, but so you're Brady, you go out, you look at you overlook the defense. What's the defense going to be? You look at the last second shift, you take the snap, and then you see how things play out, and then so is it fun at all? Can you have any fun with this, or is it so ingrained to you that it's a job and then it's a system? It's almost like a formula. I go back. If this guy goes here, then this. If this guy goes here, then this, and then it's just up to execute them. So is it fun or is it robotic? Is the word. Even with ice hockey, you're playing ice hockey out there, and you're doing this, you're doing that, and it's like how much of it is just loosey goose having fun on the fly, and how much of that is robotic, where it's like if this guy goes here, then no matter what, you go here. And if the puck goes here, no matter what, you go here and you go here. And it's like everyone's got a job to do, and it's just robotic. Or how much is like when I play, it's just everywhere. We just go all over the place, and sometimes you got 4 people in the corner chasing the ball at once. It's hilarious. It's like watching a kid's soccer game. Everyone just chasing the ball around. Let's go back to the chat here. Oh, Jeremy says he was sick and had to work. Okay. And so yeah, Reggie Wayne was the guy we were talking about. And there's rumors now that they're not going to finish the basketball or hockey season, but everything I'm hearing, hockey wants to award the Stanley Cup. They do not want to not have a Stanley Cup winner this year because of this virus. And I heard that they're looking into July and maybe even into August playing hockey, which I am perfectly fine with. I mean, get through this. Let's spark it up. Let's finish out, maybe finish the season, maybe not, maybe go right into playoffs. I would be perfectly fine. Imagine that hockey in July. That'd be pretty damn cool. Maybe awarding the cup in August. That would be pretty cool because July and August, that's basically baseball, and I'm not a big baseball guy, really. So, I mean, to have hockey in July, imagine sitting in the 4th of July cookout that night, kicking back, maybe bring a TV outside or something and watch playoff games outside in the backyard where it gets, it doesn't get dark till 9 o'clock at night. That would be kind of sweet, actually. Is to do that. Actually, any hockey right now would be kind of sweet. What am I talking about? But that would be different for sure. And then it would probably screw up the start of the next season, but that's all right. That's okay. Stephen Mills here in the chat. Yeah, exactly. We need less excuses and better attendance. That's what it is right now. So less excuses, more showy uppy, less excuses. That's what we need. So there'll be no games this Saturday as they're closed through Sunday, and then we'll reevaluate for the next week and see how it goes. I was kind of hoping they'd stay open and maybe we could run a couple of small scrimmages because I'm dying to skate. Seriously, it's been a week since I skated. So, because I didn't skate last Tuesday because I thought I had conjunctivitis in my eye, so I couldn't put in my contact lens, so I didn't skate. So it's been a while. I thought about going down to the park here to skate, but we've had some rain and snow here today, so not only is it cold, but it's wet, and I really don't want to skate out in the wet. Not only is it for sliding purposes, but they'll get your bearings all wet, then they rust up, and then your bearings are screwed. So, it was a smart decision to shut down. Before all this came down, like, and this all really started with the NBA. If you think about it, that Thursday night, where I think it was Thursday night, where they went out and no, it wasn't. It was Sunday night. I think it was Sunday night that the guy went out to play the game and it canceled, or maybe it was I forget what one. But I was at the rink scorekeeping when I got the news that they canceled the season, or they paused the season. I was shocked. And it was like at that point there, like the next day, when the NHL canceled, and then there was the Wednesday that this canceled. And I think it was like by that Thursday, everything shut down. And that's when the panic set. So it started with the NBA. And then when the NHL said it, and then every league just followed suit. And I think it was nobody wanted to be that league that was still open, and they traced any of the virus carriers to their event. I think it was a big cover your ass situation. That's my honest to God opinion, is that they just said, something, we're not going to be the ones that they pin this on. So if everybody shut down except for League X, and League X played, and they said, yeah, well, 4 guys in League X had it, you should have shut down. They don't want to be that guy. So I think that's why everybody's shutting down, is kind of a monkey see, monkey do. That's my opinion. I think it's the safe thing to do, but at the same time, it'd be perfectly safe to never leave your house for the rest of your life too. So what do? Do you stay in your house for the rest of your life, or do you say, well, I don't want to stay in the house for the rest of my life? But right now, yeah. So my plan before this thing completely fell apart, my plan was to close for a solid week, from a Tuesday to Tuesday or something like that. I was planning on missing one Tuesday and one Saturday, just because I was, in a little bit of a, like everybody else, state of shock, a little bit of panic, maybe. We're all concerned. We're all running around. Every day it's, we're freaking out. So it was definitely a safe decision by the rink to close up, even though a lot of the adults did want to play. So I think right now, today, a week right now is a good idea. Take a week, close it down. Just shut down for a week. And then let's see what happens, like I say, next Monday. So we got, 6 or 7 days now. Let's see what happens. What are the numbers going to do? What is this curve they're talking about? Can we get some good news to give us some hope? Let's see if this quarantine thing is working, okay? Because if it's working, then we want to do it for another week. And then maybe a third week. And then it's like, okay, now can we start coming out of our shells a little bit with some smaller gatherings, okay? Because theoretically, it's never going to stop spreading, but it's just we need to bring it down a little bit, is what I think they're doing. And Dan P asked, do I rollerblade? Yeah. Actually, I mostly rollerblade. I run roller hockey leagues is what I do. If things go well, I play. And if they don't go well, then I usually referee. But yeah, I'm usually on my rollerblades twice a week. My ice skates, I referee once a week on the ice. So I get both. And I also score keep once or twice a week, depending on what's going on in the season. And then once in a while, I get to do hockey play-by-play. Usually for high school or junior teams is what I do. I used to travel around the country doing the roller hockey. It was part of a bigger roller hockey league, and we would go down to, where did we go? We went to Rhode Island, Hartford, Long Island, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Florida, Las Vegas, and Huntington Beach, California. We hit a lot of places in the heyday, going back, probably about 12 years ago now. We traveled all over, did some good things. And Pittsburgh, holy cow, Pittsburgh was nuts. I've never seen so many people at a roller hockey game that did in Pittsburgh. It was an ice hockey rink that they converted the roller hockey for the summer, and all the teams that flew in there to play in this tournament hung around, and they all were in the rink along with family and friends. And there was a couple of thousand people in this rink, and it was rocking. It kind of looked like a junior hockey game. It really did. And this video somewhere, and it's just so noisy in there from the crowd. It was really something else. That was the kind of the high point. That was the crescendo, if you was when that time in Pittsburgh. And I want to say that was 2011 was Pittsburgh. And it was May or something like that, or June. And boy, that was one of the best times I've ever had broadcasting a game. It really was. We had a great finals. I think the team from California won it, winning the series 2-0. I think it was an overtime goal that won it in game 2. And good times there. Biggest crowd. Well, one of the biggest crowds I've ever been around. Mikey says, obviously not the same circumstances, but distinctly remember driving to Honky Town on 9/11 to continue some normalcy. Even though the Jets were patrolling the East Coast and Route 1 was empty. Yes. Yeah. That was weird. I remember somebody brought a boombox and we were had tape or CD and we were playing the national anthem before the first game of the night. That was actually kind of cool. I think it was Billy that brought the national anthem. We did that every night at 7:00 before we started the first game. That was really cool. Or 8:00 whenever we started to play. And that was weird too, but there was a lot different then because that shut us down for a week or so because we didn't know what to make of it. But it wasn't like this virus going around. That was you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know if there was going to be another plane crash or a bomb going off. That's what that was. But the playing hockey definitely was therapy. In fact, I talked to somebody today, and we were talking hockey, and they said, we both agreed. It said that first hockey game. That's wherever it's played. That first hockey game back, the crowd is gonna go nuts, just like they did with football. They took a week off from football. They came back and like, we need this game. We need to get back to yelling and screaming and drinking beer and yelling at referees. And so I'm really looking forward to that first game back. In fact, I'll probably even watch it myself. And I don't watch a lot of the current stuff. Kenny's in there. Good afternoon, boys. Hi, Ken. I set up my dining room table. I put down the black overlay on my dining room table so I can set up to do some board games. I'm going to be here for a few days, so I'm going to fire up some games upstairs. I want to play that Summits. In fact, I got the cards right here. Check this out. So I got my these are the Stratomatic cards. I don't know if you can see them here. It's there we go. 72 Russia and 72 Canada. Okay, so these are these Stratomatic cards. That's a homebrew. Somebody made these, and I just printed them out and cut them up. So there's the Russians. Those are the Canada ones. And you play Stratomatic with these. So I'm playing the Summit series, those 8 games, but it's kind of neat. This is Kenny Dryden. I can see that. Yep, Kenny Dryden. And the other goalie was Tony Esposito. So those are the 2 goalies for Canada. Obviously, it's Tretiak and net for the Russians. But so I dug these out so I can play this, and I think I get somebody did a homebrew, a Hockey Blast too. So I have the Hockey Blast. I also have Shootout Hockey, although their homebrew set for Shootout Hockey, he doesn't want me to show the cards. So I could play the game in Shootout Hockey, but he doesn't want me to show the cards because he didn't create them. So I said, okay, I'll do that. Apachata's here. How's it going, Apachata? And see, Nicholas says, in the meantime, real-life racing drivers are getting very involved in sim racing like iRacing and streaming racing. Oh, that'd be kind of interesting to see the races simulating driving. That'd be kind of neat. They should do that. They should see if they can have like a LAN party or something and have NASCAR, all the drivers get on a computer and then videotape that. That would be kind of neat. Kenny said he finished his morning game. The Game 4, 2018 Washington Capitals versus the 2019. So is that Capitals versus Capitals? Is that what you're doing? Washington Capitals versus 2019. I'm not following that, but the series is tied 2-2. And is that must be Hockey Blast? I think you're doing Hockey Blast, right? Oh, it's the Bruins. Oh, so 18 Caps versus 19 Bruins, and the series is tied 2-2. I'm doing my 1972. I got my stats right here. I'm doing my 1972 Stanley Cup Finals, Boston and New York. Cheevers, Orr, and Esposito, and those guys against who was it? Jacquemin was in net, and Velimir was in net. Rattel was playing. Park, I think, was on the Rangers at that point. So I'm playing that. I'm using the utility, and boy, it's been high-scoring games. So Boston took Game 1 7-4 in Boston. Then the Rangers took Game 2 in Boston 7-4. So each team scoring 7 goals. Game 3 in New York, if you can believe this, Boston won 9-3. That's unheard of in the 70s, especially 70s playoff hockey. But so, and then Boston won. Actually, I streamed this one here, Game 4. I streamed on my channel. Boston won 4-3. So Boston has a 3-1 lead in the series going back to game 5, which I probably should stream because that would be a cup clinching game. So I might do that. And that's using the utility. So I still have the cards on the table, but I use the utility to play the games out. I also have a standard cards and dice where I'm rolling the dice on the table and I'm playing the old fashioned way. I've only done 3 games with that. Boston took game 1, 3-1. The Rangers took game 4, 8-4. They shelled, I think Eddie Johnston was in that, and they chased him out after 4 goals, put Chivas in, and they scored 4 on Chivas. So they lost 8-4, Boston did. And then in game 3 was really, really a fun game. It was John Busick in overtime, giving the Bruins a 2-1 win. That was my first ever overtime game playing Stratomatic hockey. So I have on one side of the paper, I got the cards and dice only. On the other side, it's got the utility. And then obviously I have the PC version, which I haven't done anything with. I set up the, I set up was 1992-93. You remember that season? You remember Game 7, Toronto, LA? Remember that series? Doug Gilmour versus Wayne Gretzky? And the winner went on to face Montreal in the Cup that year. So I'm going to play that. I set that up on Stratomatic PC right here on the computer. And I just created the thing. I put in the 7 games so I can play the series out. And if you remember that one, that's the one Gretzky banked the puck in from behind the net in Toronto. I think it was in Game 7. That was a fantastic series. That's got to be one of the best series ever. Going all 7 games. Gretzky goes back to the Cup with the Kings. That was pretty cool, winning that in Toronto. Fun series. I think that was Potvin and Rudy. Was that Rudy in net for the Kings? There's a lot of goalies in the chat. So if there's any of the goalies in the chat, you guys remember the Kings Maple Leaf series? I think it was Potvin and net against Kelly Rudy. And the high stick game, yeah, Gretzky high sticked Gilmour, I think, and they didn't call it. Now, they only had 1 ref back then. So with 1 ref, it's kind of tough to see that stuff. And Kenny says they're still talking about that game in Toronto. That's all they do in Toronto, if you can believe it. They don't do anything but talk about hockey. It's like here with baseball. I mean, you could be at the coldest day in December or January, and you turn on sports radio. It's like, I want to talk about the Red Sox. No, it's basketball. It's hockey. It's football playoffs. You got people who want to talk about the Red Sox. But that's how it is up in Toronto. It's Maple Leafs all the time up there in Toronto. And that's all they get to talk about. And they haven't won it since I was born. They the last time the Maple Leafs won, I was just born when the Maple Leafs won the Cup. So it's been, 53 years? Yes, it has. Another goalie here says Kerry Fraser was the ref in that game. Yeah, I've seen the clips on that. And there's what channel is that? I think it's 5 Point Vids or something like that. There's a channel on YouTube that's one of my favorite sports channels, and they have all this crazy stuff. And one of them was like the most controversial plays in hockey, and one of them was that right there. It was the high stick on Gretzky on Gilmour, and the Kings like went around scored like right after that, and there should have been a penalty. So, but I remember Kerry Fraser saying he didn't see it, or if he saw it, he wasn't going to call it on Gretzky in LA, because I think the game was in LA at the time. I think it was like Game 6. And one of the goalies in the chat, not one of the better goalies, but one of the goalies in the chat said it was Potvin Rudy. Thank you so much. Killer Gilmour. Now, Dougie wasn't a killer. You know the thing about Dougie Gilmour, from what I remember, and I could be wrong, Dougie Gilmour, I think, was one of the last persons to use a neutral stick. His stick had no curve. It was straight. And I didn't even know they made him like that, but they talked about that during the series, that he used a very short, and his stick was straight, had no curve. And that way he could shoot forward or back the same way. And I remember him talking about that. I think they showed a stick, and it's called neutral, but it was straight. So somebody can look that up too. But I think that's what it was. Some crazy times there with that stick. And then that finals there, the Kings actually were winning one of the games in Montreal. Then they had the Marty McSorley illegal stick. Yep. Remember that one? Yeah. Ron Juckett still celebrates that. I think he has a stick on his wall up there in Vermont somewhere, by the way. And then the Canadians scored on the power play and went on to win the series. So, yeah, that was, I think that was the last Canadian championship. So if you have the VHS of that, then you are lucky. But anyway, getting back to some other things here. So what is everybody doing here? If you're stuck at home like I am, what are you doing for fun? If you're working half days, or if you're working from home, how's that going? I mean, what things are you doing to kind of take your mind off all this crap that's going on. I know there's a lot of people in the chat playing the cards and dice games, and some are probably playing right now while they're listening, and that's fine. It's fun because I do that too. I'll be listening to shows and I'll be playing my games. Are you guys playing video games? Some of the guys in my league. I thought about going back to Madden and see if I could trade Tom Brady to Tampa Bay and get a couple of screenshots. That would be kind of fun. But let's see. Yeah, who's it? Ken says also known for his dust up with an underage. Oh, that I didn't hear about that. Apachata's still working full time. Good for you. Good for you. I mean, you want to keep that going as long as you can. And Robbie says he's used to staying home playing games. Hey, play the games. That's what we're here for. It's harmless fun. Nicholas says he's working 2 days a week, and the rest of the time he's living in Destiny 2 and Division 2. Yeah, Division 2, boy. I played a lot of Division 1. I got Division 2 for $3. I haven't got that far into it, but that's not a game I want to play right now because that's about a viral outbreak that I think was on money. I think they put this chemical on money, and that's how people got infected. And I don't know, it was so much zombies. It was just what we're going through right now. It's just kind of craziness. In fact, I'm watching. Why I always watch this crazy stuff during bad times. I'm watching Hunters on Amazon right now, which is about the Nazis trying to rise a Fourth Reich in America in the 70s, and they're trying to disperse all this poison into the food system in the 70s. Yeah, that's what I'm watching right now. Not something you want to be watching. Seriously, it's very, very depressing. Let's see. Captain Carl says he's home until Wednesday night playing the 67 baseball replay. Carl, what game are you playing with that? Are you a strat guy with that? I think you were. I could be wrong. Let's see. Yeah, Rob. Yeah, paper money has a lot of germs. Yeah, but you don't see a lot of paper money anymore. It's still there, but you know. Nicholas says the wife demanded we watch Shaun of the Dead the other day, and he obliged. You know, I've been working on my audio drama, and you probably heard I've been working on that, and I haven't really wanted to do it since all this started. It's just because I was making up these stories, and just I don't need any more bad news because it's kind of real right now. So I'm that's on hold until I feel better mentally to go back to that, because I'm not looking to talk about end of the world stuff when we have real life end of the world stuff. It's not as fun. It's just not. Oh, History Maker Baseball. You know, I never tried that. The Play Games, PLAAY, that's what they're called, Play Games. They have their own way of doing it, and I credit them for that. But it works to a point for me, and then sometimes like the hockey game. There are really, really fun things about their hockey game. And then there's some things that really grind the game to a halt and I don't enjoy at all. Whereas when I play Strat, there's not too much in Strat that grinds it to a halt or makes me not enjoy the game. I mean, a couple penalties can get confusing in both games, but the blast really kind of goes nuts. Donnie's here. Hi, Donnie. No hockey on Friday, so you will stay out of the box for one more week as the rink is shut down through Sunday. So even the Friday morning is off. So no hockey at all. I won't be able to harass and chuckle anybody for about a week now. I'll miss that. I'll miss the chirping of the guys. What I like to do on Friday when I'm refereeing, when the guy gets a breakaway, I like to skate like right next to him and just say, "I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I believe in you." When they go on breakaways, I do. And then when they score, we high five. And when they don't score, they give me a dirty look. They do. That's what they do. Yeah, and they're talking about the 2020 draft for football. Yeah, they're not sure if they're gonna delay that or if they're gonna have it streaming or what they're gonna do with that. Everything's up in the air. Seriously, everything's up in the air. You know, my wife's work was like, "Are we gonna shut down? Are we gonna not?" You know, and like, you know, what? How are we gonna do this here? And it just every day it changes. You know, one day, you know, we were sitting over here with just a couple of quarantine things, and now it's like all the bars and restaurants are shut down. You know, I'm hoping it doesn't turn into San Francisco where they say you can't leave your house for 3 weeks. That's a little anxiety to go through the roof big time. Just knowing that I can go do something is, even though I won't, it's it's a comfort for me. And I don't know if you guys feel like how you guys feel, but knowing that I could go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac, I can't sit in there, but I could do the drive-through. Knowing I can go to Dunkin's drive-through and get a coffee, knowing I can do those things gives me peace. Excuse me. Whereas if I couldn't do those things, it gives me anxiety. Even though I might not run out and do any of those things, but just the fact that I know they could. Just when I was talking about shutting down the roller hockey league for a week, the idea that we could play, but I chose to not play to be safe for a week was comforting. Knowing that I absolutely can't play for the foreseeable future is creating anxiety. So that's kind of what's going on. And to top it off, I can't even go out and have a Scorpion Bowl now to calm my anxiety because the bars are shut down. Maybe that's a good thing because maybe I'd be there every night and that wouldn't be a good thing. So the Big Mac itself would kill the virus. Boy, I know it would kill it, but it would outlast it. It really would. I saw a show one time or a study, and they took a Big Mac. Maybe it was the doctor's office. And they took a Big Mac and they unwrapped it and they put it on a little display, like a glass display with a cover, and they let it sit there. And it sat there for like 6 months or a year, and it looked exactly the same. And they're like, "This is the Big Mac. You want to eat this thing? It doesn't die." you know. And let's see. Carl says our men's hockey league in Houston has been postponed. Yeah. Finally, our league got postponed too. Carl, I don't know how old you are, but do you remember Kolchak the Night Stalker? Do you remember that when I first saw your name pulled up? Kolchak the Night Stalker. I think it was Darren McGavin. It was in the 70s about a detective or a reporter. He might have been a reporter, and he investigated these weird things. Oh, okay. So if you would remember Kolchak the Night Stalker then. Yeah. Okay, so you're 10 years older than me, so you would probably remember it even better than I would because I was really young. And that was creepy. I don't know if you remember that. That was for the time. That was a creepy, creepy show. It really was. And now Ray said he's out and about the Providence, Rhode Island area. Very quiet. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Because a lot of people are either working from home or not working right now. So the hobby shop is closed. Yeah, that stinks. A lot of those places are trying to be safe right now. Hey, Al, Red Sox fan. He loves Kolchak the Night Stalker. Yes, that was a good show. Al, I fell asleep. I went to bed last night, Al. I fell asleep during your hockey game, the Minnesota North Stars and Hartford Whalers. It was 4-3 late in the game, and I woke up because I have my I have my phone in bed like you're not supposed to do, but I have on YouTube. I was listening to the game, and when I rolled over and woke up, it was a replay of one of your other things that you were doing. And I was like, wait, I've already heard this game. How'd the North Stars make out? So I didn't catch the end of that. Let's see. You're at work in the bunker. Yeah. Well, this is where I work right here in my bunker, but there's no work to be had. So I'm just kind of chatting. Oh, it ended 4-3. Okay, good. Good. I was watching Jucket's baseball game today, and I didn't want to bump up against him, but his game went really fast because I wanted to get on here at least at noon or 12:30, and his game went really fast. So it was kind of good. So I got to go in at 12:30 and do my show here today. I don't know if it was Sunday Ron today or not. I only caught a minute of it, but he did that train thing last night on Twitch. That was fun. We kept requesting songs. Holy cow. So Ron's like, what song you want to hear? And I kept telling him to play Steel Panther songs. So I had him play like a safe Steel Panther song. And then I said, if you got any guts, go ahead and play this one from Steel Panther. He's like, no. So then after the show, he called me. We listened to the song. He's just like, he goes, he would have said, I would have gotten so much trouble if I played that Steel Panther song. So too funny, but I gotta be heading out of here in a few minutes. Just want to stop in and say hi. The wife actually worked half a day today. She's upstairs finishing up French onion soup in the Instapot. Holy cow. I don't know if you guys have an Instapot or if you've ever done anything with an Instapot. Everything she makes in the Instapot is so good. The Instapot is ridiculous. Everything is so full of water and moist. It just feels so good and tastes so good. It's just, I mean, everything. that she makes in that thing. It's unbelievable. It blows away a crock pot. Blows away the crock pot. So it's like steaming everything. So, and Nicholas said he ordered a copy of Ford vs. Ferrari because he can to be shipped to his home. Yeah, I mean, as I hope Amazon keeps running and delivery services keep running because you know it's one of these things. If you run out of something, hopefully you can order it online, especially if you're stuck in your house. So that's what I'm kind of hoping. So Robbie says none of the metal bands he's ever heard of. Well, that's too bad. I mean, I'm not a big. I like all metal, but I was trying to find some different stuff for him to play that wasn't too far out. You know, bands like Nightwish and Night Ranger, Ghost. You must have heard of Ghost. I mean, for crying out loud, Ghost is a new band. And Ivan Diaz said just canceled MLB TV subscriptions to Sports Weekly. Yeah, you wonder you wonder about people with the subscriptions because I have the hockey subscription, and I'm not going to get to see the end of that. And you wonder about your people with tickets, game tickets, because they canceled the American Hockey League and the East Coast Hockey League. They're done. Now, I used to have season tickets out to Worcester for 2 years. I didn't get them this year, but what would I do if I had 4 tickets in my hand for the next 6 or 8 games that were left? Some of these teams can't really afford to refund that money because most of this stuff does come from the tickets. So a lot of these teams in these smaller leagues are really going to be in trouble. Amazon is hiring 100,000 to keep up the demand. I don't doubt it. Yeah. So I guess if I needed to go get a job, maybe I could go to Amazon and do that. And Ken says he's been selling a lot of stuff on eBay. I sold a couple things on Facebook this week. Although I put them up for sale right before the craziness happened and all these people wanted it. And then I didn't hear from anybody for a week because I imagine all the craziness. And so finally people got back to me and I sold the last one this morning. So that was good. But, so I got to go through some of my draws and maybe sell a little bit more. But, if people can't leave the house and they can't get to buy your stuff, at least on Facebook. So. But anyway, so I'll do a couple more minutes here. Any last minute thoughts here before we wrap up this little afternoon chat? Is anybody streaming anything this afternoon to give us something to do here in the afternoon? Anybody going to be doing any games? I know Tribe was off recording a game, but I don't know if he doesn't really stream too much, but he was going to record a game. And Al says, how much fun is that Action PC hockey? Oh my gosh, Al. That hockey game. I mean, the chalkboard and the graphics skip around a little bit, but between you watch that and you watch the play-by-play as it roll, and you can get a really good feel of a hockey game and broadcast that game. And just it has sound effects. You can hear the shots being taken, you hear the whistles blowing, so it sounds like a pretty good radio broadcast. And that game is so much fun. I have like most of the seasons. I just pick teams and play, and sometimes I have a season going and I just mix it up and broadcast different games. But yeah, Action PC hockey, and it's just so much fun just to watch the game play out, and you make decisions too. I mean, do you want to shoot? Do you want to pass? Do you want to clear? Do you want to play safe? There's enough decisions to keep that game fun. So it doesn't seem like you're just watching. There's a couple of games with cards and dice, and I kid to Ron all the time. It's like whack-a-mole. It's just you click. Okay, what happens? You just click on what happens, but you don't make any decisions. And it's just whack-a-mole. So, okay, I roll a 6. Okay, defenseman. I roll a 5. Shot. I roll a 6. Save. That's not playing hockey. That's whack-a-mole. But Action PC, it's like, okay, what do you want to do? And then even line changes. I set it to auto line changes, and then toward the end of the game, I go to manual. Go to manual line changes. And I look, okay, I want Bork out there with Wesley, and I want Neely, Oates, and whoever out there on the line. And I mix it all up like that, mix and matching lines. And what's fun about that is you look and you can see the numbers going down, and that's their health or how tired they are. So you get some guys that are in the 70s and they're exhausted and you can't put them out. So you got to put somebody else out. So there's a lot of strategy in Action PC hockey. It is fantastic. I don't play much of the baseball. Sometimes I'll play the football. The basketball seemed good, although I know nothing about basketball, but I do enjoy playing the basketball. And I'd love to see the hockey get a little better chalkboard. But I actually emailed them and they said, people really don't care for that. They're just there for the sim. I'm like, what are you talking about? Who would want to see a better chalkboard? Who'd want to see replays of goals like you do in football? I mean, that's what we're there for, to see, at least put in the replays of the goals, And let's see, Carl says he did a draft league for about 5 years with Action PC. That's pretty cool. I need to play some of the golf. I haven't streamed the golf in months, and that was fun, kicking back and taking 3 golfers and playing the courses and watching that play out. The golf is fun too. I got a ton of courses for that. That is a fun game. I think I played one tournament, and the rest of the time I just take 2 or 3 golfers and play a couple of holes, and that's all I do. Yeah, if you roll your own dice in some of these games, yeah, that would be kind of cool. I was looking into the Strat PC baseball game, but you can't really play basic, and Ron said it'd be more of a hassle to input the stuff myself. So I think if I'm going to do baseball, I'll do the OTP. Someone said to do the 1899 Cleveland Spiders. That could be kind of fun. I don't know anybody on the Spiders, but that would be fun to do. And it'd get me practicing my basketball again. And let's see. Carl says has a good flow like their basketball too. Yeah, there's a pretty good flow in the Action PC games. There really is. Al says basketball is very fun. And Carl says his league finally disbanded. That's too bad. Let's see. He put the basketball through the hoop more than the other team. That's a summary of basketball. Well, that's pretty much a summary of everything. That's the one thing that I didn't really take to basketball, because there was so much scoring. And the old joke is you can wait to the last 2 minutes of a basketball game to tune in and see what happens. You really can. Let's see. Who else? Yeah, Kenny, I'm asking if there's any streams coming up to see if anybody's jumping on this afternoon. I know Ron said he wants to do something tonight. I'm going to probably do something either this afternoon or maybe after Ron tonight. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I just set up my table upstairs to run some cards and dice, which I'm probably not going to stream. I might record a little bit or have some kind of a summary of the game, because I want to play that 8-game series of the 72 Summit series. I might stream later on the Stratomatic Hockey Utility Game 5, so I can see if Boston can clinch the cup up, and I can wrap that project up as they lead the series 3-1 going back to Boston. So at some point I will get that one going. I mean, I got plenty of time. The big thing is, though, even though I have the time, it's having the mental capacity to do it. Even this was kind of difficult to do, just considering everything that's going on. If they had said, look, sit in your house for a week and then everything's back to normal, it would be way different than sit in your house for a week and let's see what happens next week, and then let's see what happens the week after. That's the unknown factor that has my anxiety through the roof right now. And trying to take my mind off it and coming on here and chatting with you guys is one way of me dealing with that anxiety. But trying to do a game and pretend like everything's fine, it's tough to do right now. It's tough to pretend like everything's fine. Not that it's horrible, okay? Not that there are people dying on my street or anything like that, but there's a worldwide panic right now, and it really is. And I'm just trying to deal with it like everybody else. Is one old man like everybody else. Let's see. Al says he's going to have the championship game of one of the one and done. The 1983 tourney for Strat Card and Dice. Al, who's playing in that game? And if you're on YouTube, go check out Al Red Sox fans channel for sure. Also Apachata's channel. And Tribe Fan 2 was on here too. I know that. I'm not sure if Carl does any streaming or not, or Kenny Castro. I'm not 100% sure. But Al does a lot of games. I like the Al's hockey games. Those are great. Orioles and White Sox. Okay, Orioles and White Sox. Gonna be the thing there that he does. So, and see. Okay, Carl says he doesn't do any streaming, and Kenny doesn't have any anxiety. He can stay in indefinitely. Oh, good for you. I mean, I can hang in for a while. I got all these games, behind me over here I can play. In fact, I need to fire up my Sega Genesis and stream some of those too. I was going to do like an NHL 94 all day. Just get on here instead of talking here, just chat with you guys while playing NHL 94. And I still might. Maybe that'll be a tomorrow thing. I'm going to see how that goes. I'm supposed to record the Game Hounds tomorrow, 12:30. I've been doing the Game Hounds for 10 or 11 years now. Been doing the Game Hounds. It's a video game show. Game Hounds vids on YouTube is where you can find it, or on Facebook. The Game Hounds, they broadcast on Facebook too, I think, every Wednesday at 12:30. But the people I do it with, they're both out in San Francisco, and they're on house lockdown right now. So it's going to be interesting talking with them tomorrow about what they're seeing and what's going on out there in San Francisco. So, and I'm hoping that doesn't come this way. Like I say, the fact that I know I can go out and get a Big Mac or a nice coffee that's very comforting. Whereas if I can't go out and do that, it's not comforting, and that's very scary. So I'll talk to them tomorrow about that. But I'm going to wrap things up here. So, yeah, maybe later on today, look for my Game 5 of the 72 Stanley Cup Finals as the Bruins try to wrap it up over the New York Rangers. That's one thing on the table. If I do any streaming of the 72 Summit Series, it will probably be with the utility rather than on the cards and dice. It's just a lot easier. I mean, I could try to set up cards and dice here on the table, but having the utility, you can see everything right on the utility except the cards, and you can see what's going on rather than the cards and dice trying to get a good angle with a camera. And this camera doesn't do a really good job of capturing cards and dice. The iPad does a pretty good job, but you can't stream from the iPad. I can only record and put that up. So I'm still not sure how I'm going to handle that. Oh, what I want to do is kind of neat is, let me show you this real quick, is I have my my rinks. So these are the rinks from Action PC Hockey. And what I do is I print them out on a, what's that, 8.5 by 14 sheet. I can do right here at the house. And so that I'll put down on the table, and that'll be my kind of my ambiance for when I play cards and dice. So the first game was in Montreal. So I got the Canadians here. So I got to print out Toronto, Winnipeg, and Vancouver, I think, is where they played the 4 games. And then I have a house rink that I built for the Russians. So I'll have the 5 rinks printed out. So I'll have that on the table when I play to kind of give me a little bit more of a, I don't know, what do we call that? Immersion. So I'll feel like I'm in Montreal. I'll feel like I'm in Toronto playing these games. And so I like to do something like that. So, okay. So, yeah, so I think I'm going to wrap things up here. And Apple Hockey, that's the one game I haven't played. I don't say that's the one game. I have a lot of games I haven't played, but I have not played Apple Hockey. I've got a lot of hockey games, mostly the quick play kind. I think I tried Status Pro. I think I tried Hockey Bones. All the Downey hockey I've tried. I even tried Everyday Gamer Hockey, which I want to go back to. That had potential. Everyday Gamer Hockey, that had some potential. That was a long game, but with the fast action cards, that seemed to work. I've kind of settled on Strat. I have played the Hockey Blast. I have played obviously the Action PC Hockey and a few others like that. But the Strat Hockey is the one to me, and personally, I like it because for me it flows. Okay, I like a game that flows. I like when I'm playing a hockey game or any game, I like to feel like I'm watching it. Although at the same time, I don't want to have it take 2 hours. Like there's a couple of football games that I play that you play by play, and they're fun, but they take an hour and a half or so, sometimes 2 hours to play. It's like, oh, that's a long game to play. So I can see getting something a little quicker than that. But the Strat Hockey, I can play that in 45 minutes to an hour. And that's usually with some distraction. I'm usually listening to something or watching something at the same time. But I can bang one of those out, but I got a feel for the game. It feels like I'm in the game. And even though it has a couple of skip aheads, it feels like I'm watching the game. You can see the pass. Esposito makes the pass to the right wing. Hodge with it. Hodge with a shot. Save and a rebound. The rebound goes to or scores on the rebound. You can follow that progression, and it feels like that you're watching the game. Where some of the other games don't quite have that. It kind of just gives you when the game's over, you have your score, but you don't feel like you've been a part of that. No, at least that's just how I feel. Kenny had Big Bet for a while. I looked into Big Bet. I haven't done the Big Bet. I don't know what's preventing me from doing it. I'm not sure why. And games that have a lot of math, okay, and I'm a numbers guy, but games that have a lot of math, I don't really care for. So if I go to, and I think that was the thing with Apple Hockey. and Dave S does have some great videos for Apple Hockey. I think the problem with Apple Hockey was you had to do some math. So you would roll the dice and you look at the chart and you would read a number, but then you'd have to look at something else and that number would fluctuate. And so the game stops while you do the math. I don't really care for that. With Strat, you roll the dice, you go to the card, that's it. The only time you do any math is on the face-off, is when you say, okay, this guy's a 3, this guy's a 2, so this guy has a 1 advantage. That's the column I look at. So it's really not even math. So I find games that I have to stop and do a lot of math. And like there was one game that you had to add up everybody's number on the line. And that was their total team number. And then you did it with the other team. It's like, holy cow. If I got, every time I stop to figure this out, if I got to add up all these numbers for both teams and compare it, forget it. That game will just be choppy as all heck. So I like a game that flows and plays fun. And let's see. Big Bep is similar to Status Pro. Okay, Status Pro was okay. I tried that with Ron one night. We actually we streamed here, Ron and myself, when I was playing it, and we were playing Minnesota versus Boston, and just had one line out, and it flowed pretty well. It just was like a lot of offense, but I'm not giving up on it. I'm really not. Sean, am I Bruins fan? Yeah, well, I'm here in the Boston area, so yeah, so I am. Oh, I get the Celtics and the Patriots, so yeah, so that would give it away. I try to rotate behind me to keep it fresh, because I had some classics up there for a while. I had Baltimore Colts up there and things like that, and the California Seals. But I bought some new pennants on eBay, so I'm trying to rotate them in. Is what I'm trying to do. Let's see. Captain Carl is going to be putting Strat back onto the table. 77-78 season. That's cool. That's my wheelhouse. 78 was my wheelhouse for games. So I have a lot of the seasons that have 78. And let's see. Allison, I'm not a Canadian. So I'm an original 6 guy, if you can believe it. In fact, I have on underneath here, I have my Rangers shirt. I'm an original 6 guy. I do. Rangers are probably my second favorite team after the Sharks. I like the Bruins and the Sharks, and then probably the Rangers. I like the Blackhawks back in the day. Esposito, Magnuson, Nikita. That was some good times there. So I like the original 6. Not so much the newer teams, but I do like the original 6. Canadians are my, of the original 6 teams, I like them the least. Let's see. Apple Chat wants to set up a game, didn't have much math, but simple arithmetic. Like 3 is more than 2. Yeah, there's stuff like that. That's fine. Okay. Oh, Kenny says there's no math in Apple Hockey and basic. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah, what I hear about Apple is that you start to memorize the roles, like in Strat, and 8's always a rebound. You don't even got to look at it. So once you start to memorize some of the charts, it probably does flow a lot better. It's just when I watch some of the videos, I was like, oh boy, if I got to go into the chart and read the chart as a 7, but it's not really a 7, my eyes start to gloss over. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go back to Strat. Dave, anybody else feeling a little depressed? Yes. Anxiety, depression. I go through bouts of it big time. Last night I had a huge one, and then I rebounded back a little bit from that, just trying to concentrate on fun things. And then Tom Brady leaves, just adds to it. Brady is gone. Yes, I know. He said there's still a chance. I mean, he did. It's not like he signed with anybody, but he said his days with the Pats are over. But I wouldn't put it past him to just be getting some leverage, to get the fans on his side. So they pressure Belichick and Kraft. So they say, okay, we're going to renegotiate the deal, and then hey, we're all a happy family again. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I'm not saying it's gonna, but I wouldn't be surprised because Brady's a little bit more emotional. Belichick is stone cold killer. You know what I mean? He's just business. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was putting pressure on the Patriots right now to do something. So, oh, Sean, really? The Flyers, your team with Hextall? Oh my gosh, Sean. Oh, if there's one goalie in the league I hated, it was Hextall. I did. In fact, true story. Boston Garden, 1987. Something like that, 87 or 88, went to a hockey game, last row of the Garden, playing the Flyers, drunk out of my mind, and I started chanting Hextall. I was drunk. I was 20, 21. I'm like, Hextall, Hextall, right? And all these people look, shut up, shut up, shut up. I don't care. Hextall. And all of a sudden the guy in with it goes, wait, 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 shh. I go, what? He goes, listen. The whole garden was chanting Hextall. No joke. True story. I started a Hextall chant at the Boston Garden. True story. And everyone looked at me and they're like, we blame you for this. I'm like, what? Everyone's chanting Hextall. I think it's pretty good. So I got a Hextall chant going. I can't stand Hextall. In fact, he had a piece of snow. The referee, something happened. He's yelling at the referee. The referee skated away and he fired a snowball at the referee with his stick. I was like, what a jerk. Really, Hextall, what a jerk. He's just so aggressive. I never cared for the guy. Never cared for the guy. I don't like the aggressive goalies. You play goalie, sit in the net, play goalie. Because as a goalie, you're protected. You can't, nobody can come at you because you're a goalie. But you think you're all real tough when you go after somebody else. That's not cool. If you're protected and you can't do something to somebody else, I mean, they can't hit you, but you can hit them. You're not a tough guy. Sorry, you're not a tough guy. If back in the day, a goalie come out of the net, you could check them. Now you're a tough guy. Now you can be a tough. But if they're going to protect you, then I don't want to hear how tough you are. If you have people protecting you, if you can run behind mommy's skirt every time someone comes after you, no, don't like the aggressive goalies. Let me see. Yeah, but see, he likes the Caps and the Bruins. Okay, not the right order, but that's okay. That's okay. We're up there. And Al Red Sox fans like the Whalers and the Bruins. Yep. I mean, how could you not like the Whalers? Just they were never any good. That one series where Boston came back, they were down 3-2, and they won the last two games. Game 6 in Hartford and Game 7 at home. That was classic series. Classic series. Peter Sidorkiewicz. Yep. Let's see. Kenny says his game took an hour this morning. So I think that was was that a Strat game? Yeah, I think he said it was Strat. Let's see. Reading the last few comments here before I wrap up for the day and go get some French onion soup out of the Instapot. Let's see. Al says, watch Pigeon on the Mike Tyson mysteries that will make you laugh and tremendously offend you. And Hextall scored a goal on the Bruins. Yep, I remember that. I saw it coming. He tried once and they knocked it down. I said, why are you throwing on him again? It was almost like they wanted him to score. That was pretty bad. So, and Wayne Gretzky's hockey table game. I never heard of it. I got Wayne Gretzky on Nintendo, which is probably one of the worst hockey games you could ever play. But I never heard of his hockey table game. And you know what I did have as a kid, and I seen him on eBay for $50, was the Tony Esposito and Phil Esposito. Remember that one there? It was magnets. So you had your rink, and the Bruins was Phil Esposito were on the top, and you had these little it was a piece of plastic, but you had a magnet, and you could control the guys with just the magnets. And the other guy was Chicago, and he had the magnets underneath. And I always thought that was tough because the guy in the top you could easily see the magnets and push the puck around. The guy in the bottom couldn't see the magnets as well. So, but that way there you wouldn't get your hands clashed. So it was the Chicago, you were playing from the bottom, and Boston were playing for the top, and it was terrible. It was actually a terrible game, but I had it as a kid. I had so many hockey games as a kid. I should have kept them. But they're all 2-player games, so if I got them now, I'd be like, even I have a Sears Rod hockey game behind me from probably 1969, and I can't know what to play it with. It just sits there. It looks nice, but I can't really play with anybody. So, it's got the little sliding players. Okay, I think I got one of those in the garage too. I bought it at a yard sale. It was like a generic. It didn't even have the teams. It was just like red and blue, whatever. But anyway, I'm going to wrap things up here, folks. I'm going to go get some lunch. I just want to come on and say hi to everybody, see how everybody's going. I'll probably jump on later today or tomorrow. I mean, I'm home. I might as well come on and say hi and check in on everybody and see how everybody is doing. Maybe give everybody a place to come and vent. Tell me what's going on in your day. Don't want to hear all bad news, that's for sure. I like to hear some good news once in a while. Hope everybody, every day it's at some point there'll be an end to this is what it is. It's just a matter of getting through the next day and hopefully things getting better and getting back to normal, because that's what we all want. I want to go back to my old boring life. That's what I want to do. And so Sean's living in Florida right now. Yeah, we looked into going down to Florida. I think I'd rather have snow than snakes. Just saying. That's just me. So, all right, everybody. See, I have a steak and cheese sub for me. I think I have a half one in there. I bought a bunch of pizzas and a bunch of subs the other day on Sunday just to make sure we had some good stuff instead of the canned stuff. And I still think I got half a sub left, so I might go have that with my French onion soup. So anyway, thanks for stopping in, everybody. Thanks for chatting today. Hope everybody has a good day, and I'll be looking for everybody online later on. In fact, I might even jump on with something later on myself. So signing off here from Studio B, this is Dave. Have a good day, everybody.